Hey everybody, this is Glidercat and it's time to play. We're back on Angel Mountain Farm Sim 22 16x map with massive objectives to go after. Let's get started. We're going to get cows this episode. Increase the herd here. We'll make 3 trips. While we're doing that, I'll tell you what's been going on between episodes. I did start mining our salt and bringing some salt loads over to the new nut house. We can't fire up production at the nut house until we get honey going. And that's going to require us to harvest our clover field. That is not yet ready for harvest. It's real close. It's in the last growth stage. We'll check it just to make sure it hasn't ticked over. We're in the 4th day of October. I think that's the last day of this month. Let me kick up the time to 1 times speed. I usually go half speed in between episodes. There's the apiaries. As soon as we can harvest our clover, we'll buy at least one of those apiaries. But yeah, hauled some salt. We'll do a little bit more of that salt this episode. It's challenging because it's really a heavy material. So our wheel loader with the big shovel is a bit tippy, but I've been able to manage. And that big shovel is like 2.5 times the smaller one. So we'll try and keep that going. But yeah, we'll haul some more salt this episode since the wheel loader happens to be over there right now. What else? The refinery. I brought the refinery and our single oil rig. I brought over a ton of coal over to the oil rig, so that thing is churning out crude oil. And I've decided to just let the oil rig distribute that oil straight over to the refinery rather than us hauling it tanker by tanker, because it's in such close proximity. It just seems kind of goofy. I think in the real world, if you were drilling for oil and you had a refinery 100 meters away, you would be piping that crude oil straight into the refinery, not trucking it such a short distance. So that's one thing we decided, or one thing I decided to do. Yeah, this time we're doing cows. We got to do 3 trips. Boom. Yep. Let's see, what else? So yeah, hauled coal over there as fuel. And I use the train to do it too. So the train does save us a little bit of transport time. So take coal from the coal mine, load it up to the local train station, take the train station over to, or take the train over to the train station that's a little closer to the oil rig. And so that all worked pretty good, not too bad. What else? So that's going. There's plastic at the refinery waiting for us. There is fuel or diesel fuel waiting for us at the refinery. A little bit of dye has been made too. We need to get a tanker that will take fuel. I've installed some mods that we can try out that I think are going to work. I don't think we're going to get to that this episode, but it's something we're definitely going to need to purchase so we can start making use of that diesel fuel. It'd be great to have that diesel on hand before we start harvesting our next couple crops that are about to come up. So that'll be good. It'll save us a little money. It's not going to save us a ton. But we do also need diesel for the bakery and for, I think, some of the other production lines that we're gonna get into. I don't think the nut house needs it. Let's just check real quick. That runs on coal, I believe. And I brought some coal over to the nut house as well. Yeah, nut house has coal. It doesn't need diesel. But like this guy does need diesel. The grain house and I think the bakery. Whoops, just lost my exit. Let's I gotta turn around. Oh man, when it rains it pours. Look at all these cars. Yeah, I think the grain house and the bakery both require diesel fuel, so we'll use it for that, and we may even opt to sell it. Sell some of that diesel and raise funds with it. But yeah, that is that. What else did we do? What else did I get to between episodes? I think that's pretty much it. As part of delivering that coal over to the oil rig, I did put some in storage. We're getting real close to hitting 10 million in storage on the coal. So that's kind of a nice little mini milestone. We do this episode, in addition to hauling some salt, we're going to do some iron as well. The mammoth mill is completely out of iron ore, so production has stopped on the steel and the nails and the drill pipe. I did also take a drill pipe over to the oil rig, so it should be good for a while. But yeah, this episode probably going to focus on mining, and it'll be salt and iron ore. Let's drop off these cows. Our herd is increasing in size. We're starting to get to respectable numbers here. If I can pull this off. Oh, maybe not. All right, select. Move to husbandry. Yep. Let's hop out and open these doors so next time it's a little more realistic. Close that up. Yeah, as I mentioned last episode, I was looking at the upgraded animal trailer where we could use our semi. We wouldn't have to use this pickup truck. But man, that thing's $80,000 and it only holds 6 more cows. So we'll stick with this for a little bit. Our next purchases, we've got a couple things I might want to purchase. One is an automated TMR mixer. So kind of the self-propelled one. That would help us get into dairy cows. But those, I think those are about 150, 160 grand a piece. Be nice if one came up on the used market, so I'll keep an eye out on that. The other thing I'm thinking of picking up or saving up for is forage harvester. We're gonna want to do poplar pretty soon to get wood chips going, and we're gonna put a poplar crop onto field 28 as soon as we get the wheat off of there. So we'll need a forage harvester for that. And then I mentioned, I think last episode, field 1, which is right by our farm, kind of up on the hill. Been thinking about using that field for to do what is it? Oh, I can't think of the name. What use it for? Not silage. Oh man, it's driving me crazy. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But basically chaff. Using that field number 1 for chaff. And so we could use a forage harvester for that as well. So those are pretty expensive. We had an opportunity early in the series to purchase a used one. I did not grab it because I wasn't sure just how long it would be before we got into doing that. Needing the forage harvester, but now I'm kicking myself. And I wish we had bought it. All right, Angus 300. Oops, select. Buy. Yep. So that's another thing to buy equipment-wise. That's going to cost quite a bit of money. Those aren't cheap. Yeah, I think they're north of 150 grand, approaching 200 grand if I'm not mistaken. But again, it's something we can make use of for chaff, something we can make use of for our poplar and getting wood chip production up, because that's something I've mentioned several times. We're desperate to increase. A mammoth mill sits idle, not making planks because it's waiting on wood chips quite often. So that's another thing to purchase. And then as far as like productions to purchase, we've got the nut house, we have the drying mill. Those will be in production. The drying mill's going right now. The nut house will be in production as soon as we get honey. We did recently buy a second orchard and a second greenhouse. I'd love to pick up those last 2 greenhouses, and they're not super expensive. So those 4 things: forage harvester, TMR mixer, 2 more greenhouses. I think those are the things I'm most interested in buying. And then maybe work on getting our next field, getting our 4th field purchased. That's kind of what I'm thinking. We're not raising money real fast. I did sell some glass jars in between episodes. So we'll use some of that money to pay off a little debt here in a second. Need to make one more trip of cows after this one. We have lots to do in the meantime. Even if we don't have stuff to buy, we have a lot to do. There's obviously tons of ore and things to haul, mine and haul. And then we've got trees to cut down between fields 28 and 25. And then we also have grass to cut all around field 25, since that's a new one for us. So plenty to do. Let's swing around this way. We also could get a couple horses. We'll see. We'll see. We have oats. We have water. I think that's all they need. All right, one more trip. Our silage here is ready. Not sure what I want to do with that. If we had the TMR mixer, I would dump some hay and dump some straw. And we just start working the TMR mixer and start making some TMR. Because we don't have that yet, not sure. We may want to just scoop up that silage and put it in storage. And then we'll use it for cows later on, or we'll use it for TMR a little later on once we get the dairy cows. That's another building I'd like to buy, is another cow shed. So we can get started on dairy cows. Not urgent. So yeah, we may end up scooping up that silage, putting it into storage, and then when we cut the grass around our new field, maybe we start getting another batch of silage cooked up or fermenting. We don't have a whole lot of grass to cut, but I think enough to do another small batch of silage and just get that going. So yeah, plenty to do. Meanwhile, things over at the old man's mill, with the wheelchairs and the walkers, those are being made. Again, we've got 2 greenhouses and 2 orchards. Those are in full production. I did sell a batch of oranges between episodes. It's about 25 grand, not much. But you might remember when we had our big market day, that's one of the crops that we didn't totally exhaust out of the orchard. So I took a load of those, and we'll just wait for things to grow. All right, this is our last batch of cows. And we'll take a look at how the animals are doing, how many we have, and pay off our 20 grand of debt this episode. Chip away at that every time we can. Whoops, that's not the ones I want. I want these guys. Yeah, then the other thing it'd be nice to get going is the pigs. But we need a root crop. That's the only thing holding us back. That may be the next big field purchase. But it feels like that's quite a few episodes out. We'll see. But yeah, it'd be nice to get sugar beets or potatoes going. That field 1, which is right near our farm, I believe that does have potatoes on it. We could buy that land. That's, I don't know, 450 grand, I think, for the land that has that field on it. A lot for a tiny field. And we could rent equipment and get our first batch of potatoes going. That would probably allow us to make the pig food. I think we might have all the ingredients we need to make pig food once we harvest 1 crop of potatoes. And if we start slow on pigs, it might not be a problem. We're going to have soybeans pretty soon. That's going to come off of field 25. We have sorghum in storage, and we're about to have wheat in storage. I think grain plus like a soybean plus like potatoes would do it. I think that would allow us to make pig food. So that's another thing in the back of my mind we'll think about. All right, here comes our last load of cows. Took the turn a little fast. This poor pickup can't quite make it with all the momentum once it's got a full load of stuff it's hauling. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I do love the model. I love the look of this thing. Missing the hubcaps in the front. Or it's missing. I see it's got one in the front, none in the back here, and on the other side it's just the opposite. It's a little beat up. It'd be funny if you could repaint this thing and it would look new or something, but pretty sure you can't. All right, let's swing around this way. I gotta be careful on my speed here so I don't jackknife. Getting a little bit of manure accumulated already. Be a while before we have to haul that, though, I think. Oops, I'm not in the area, apparently. All right, let's go ahead and park this pickup truck. It's pretty much all we use it for lately. Boom. All right, let's take a look at the animals and just see how many we have. What is that? 36 plus 54 is 9. Is that 90? Not bad. We're getting there. We're just feeding these guys hay, and we're able to get 100% productivity out of it. Straw, we're loaded, and hay, we're loaded. Doesn't look like we need to worry about anything there. We're starting to actually, they're starting to gain some value, right? We're paying 300 now that these oldest ones are worth 345. They're still just a long ways, or they're a long ways from being able to reproduce, it looks like. Similar situation with the sheep. We have, what is it, 78 sheep? Not bad. These guys are starting to kick out wool. It'll take a while for them to get out of puberty and start reproducing on their own. Once they do, we might not have to make these trips anymore. We may make other trips. Maybe taking cows off to the butcher or taking sheep off to the butcher. We'll see. We'll let the herd grow quite a bit before we start doing that. Let's just take a look at our little stack of wool. We don't even have 3 bags full, but we do have a little. What is it? Is that just 20, 27 liters? It's something, but that'll start growing. All right, let's pay off the debt a little bit. We can take a look at our finances overall too. Okay, we're down to 6.94 million in debt. Still a lot, but we're chipping away at it. Loan interest, we paid 17,000 in October so far, so that's maybe 3 days, and then that'll get up to probably 23,000 or close to it. We are paying a little bit off every day, so the interest should go down slowly too, but that's not much. Delivery cost productions, I have no idea. Oh, we're paying to deliver that crude oil over to the refinery. I'm going to leave this on. I didn't realize there was a cost to doing that. I may take that off because we've only got one oil well, and the refinery is, like I said, 100 meters away. It'd be super easy to just load that thing up manually. We're going to have to go out there with a tanker anyway, that so we can bring the diesel back and the dye. I'm not sure how we haul the dye, if that's pallets or if that's in a tanker. We'll find out. Water costs, no idea. No idea where that's coming from. That's kind of strange. $2 and then $10. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Fuel, we're about to not have to pay for that anymore. We'll see. This 31,000. This must have been when we were actually doing some harvesting and stuff. We're not doing that much. It's just me kind of trucking ore around. Construction cost, low. Property maintenance, low. Vehicle running costs, high. This is all maintenance, I think, on our truck and our wheel loader in particular. Land purchases. And that's probably our new field plus... No, that's just probably our new field and that's it, I would think. Construction cost. That might be part of the nut house that we purchased. New livestock and new vehicles. That's my used purchases, the vehicles that we just purchased. Let's take a look and see if there's anything in here that's interesting. Oh, man. There's a big cedar here on sale. Oh, man, that's tempting. Cultivator, we're doing mostly plowing, so we don't need to worry about the cultivating. We may get to that later. Oh, man, this is a nice big cedar, but I can't spend 100 grand right now. It's taking us a while to acquire fields, so we can get by with the one that we have. I think we have one of those, right? Let's look in the garage. Yeah, we already have one. Not a bad deal, though, for half off. But we'll save our cash. Let's get to mining. Got the truck here all set up at the salt mine. We just purchased this mine an episode or two ago. Let's get to it. Like I mentioned, the salt's pretty darn heavy. So this wheel loader gets tippy, even though it's the biggest wheel loader in game. But yeah, let's get to it. We'll do maybe 3 loads of salt, 2 to the nut house, and then 1 into storage. And then we'll move the wheel loader over to the iron mine and probably do 6 loads of iron. 4 for Mammoth Mill and 2 for storage. So yeah, let's get on it. Here we go. All right, that's our last load for salt. For now, let's take a look at the inventory. So yeah, coal is doing awesome right now. We're at 8.85 million, almost at the 10 million mark. Sand is about halfway there. Salt, we just got started on, and I did some between episodes, so we're up to 205,000. saved up for our 10 million liter objective. And then on the ore side, we're right about 4 million. We're going to do some ore right now. So this will probably tick up by 120,000 because we'll send 2 loads of ore into here and 4 loads into Mammoth Mill. Mammoth Mill right now is starved out, has no iron ore. So let's take this truck over to the iron mine, and then I'll jump in the wheel loader and just drive that over from the salt mine to the iron mine. And then we'll get to load in some iron ore and get our steel production, nail production, and drill pipe production back online. I did take a bunch of drill pipe over to the oil rig, so it should be good for a good long time. And has a ton of coal too. That oil rig will store 2 million coal. So that's kind of nice. But that's a lot of trips. It's a lot of coal mining to get that thing filled up. But we make use of the train, so that speeds it up a little bit. And I'll do most of that between episodes. Yeah, I will meet you back at the iron mine. Stop here for a quick power wash. Keep things looking good. Maintenance, I think, is okay. We can hold off for a little bit. I mentioned earlier we are producing our own diesel. We just need to go get it. I did fill up the truck just before this episode. Filled it up with diesel just from our little maintenance trailer there, straight ahead. Got about 800 liters left in it of diesel that we paid for. Hopefully we won't have to pay for it anymore. Right, that's looking good. You can see some of the paint wear on here. We're not going to be repainting that anytime soon. We really need to conserve the cash. Let me drive this thing over to the iron mine right next door. We'll just bring this guy over. Unfortunately, we got to dump the rest of this salt, because we're going to make use of the same bucket for the iron. All right, pop our beacon on since we're going to be in traffic here in a second. Bunch of trees to cut over in this area. I don't think we own that little patch of land, though. So maybe when we buy whatever mine that is, I don't know if that's nickel or gravel. But once we buy that land, we can cut down those trees and clear those out. This guy shouldn't have a problem with the tracks. The semi-truck does struggle on these railroad tracks. When that time lapse, we got lucky and it had no problems. But man, I've had several struggles where it just does not want to make its way over the tracks, whether it's full or empty. So I'll have to see what I can do about that. Wheel loader's looking pretty clean. I power washed it before I went over to the salt mine. I think we'll just head straight into the iron mine. Doesn't need to be washed right now. All right, I am going to do 6 loads. 4 to Mammoth Mill and 2 into storage. Let's get on it. All right, and that is our last load of ore, at least for now. I'm sure we have thousands more loads to do before we're done with this playthrough. Let's take a look at where our production lines stand, and then we'll call it an episode. Take a look. All right, take it from the top. Sawmill. We're gonna get some wood probably next episode. Loaded into the sawmill. It has plenty right now. I noticed outside the sawmill there's several pallets of planks. We'll need to move over to the carpentry mill. Maybe we'll get to that next episode. There's some wood chips too that need to be moved. Bakery barn, nothing. Carpentry mill. I did take a load of crates over to the nut house. The nut house is going to use crates. So are the apiaries. That's looking good. Nails look good over there. Again, we're always short on planks and wood chips. Pallets. These right now, the only building we have that uses pallets, I think, it might be two things actually: the bakery and the grain mill. So once that gets close to being full, we'll have to empty this out to keep the production going. Barrels, we don't have anything that uses barrels. Might want to get a warehouse built where we can store these things. But nothing to do right now on that front. Composter, nothing to do there. Drying mill, let's take a look. Banana chips and dried cherries at 40,000 each. Got a good supply of raw bananas and cherries here to process. That's going to take some time. In fact, I think the orchard is going to outperform the drying mill by quite a heavy measure. So we might not need to put manure into that orchard. Like it looks like the production of these banana chips and dried cherries is slower than I was hoping for. Looks like we have plenty of blocks, plenty of boxes, almost a full storage of coal. So nothing to do there for a while. Grainhouse, yeah, grainhouse uses pallets. Nothing to do here. Pretty soon we'll be able to fill this with diesel. We are producing our own diesel. We just need to get a tanker truck. And then we're also over here. I guess we're not waiting on anything on the grainhouse, just stuff to process. We do have a bunch of oats in there that we can process. We're not going to sell the flour. We have some flour sitting in there too. First greenhouse, a decent amount of compost. Probably want to get more loaded in there. Water looks good. I've been putting a bunch of water in. Just keep building that up. Herbicide, we saw that this gets consumed very, very slow. And what do we have? 6 production lines here, 40,000 each. Nothing to worry about yet. Greenhouse 3, similar situation. We have much more compost, tons of water, plenty of herbicide. And we're getting near the 80,000 each for, 7 different products there. We'll wait till these get quite a bit higher before we sell anything. Mammoth Mill, we just loaded in some ore. Got room for a lot more ore. I might do some between episodes. Again, short on wood chips. Coal looks okay. Got a few loads we could bring over. Top that off. Sand, same thing. Looks pretty good. I mentioned I sold some glass jars. It looks like there's more being produced. This is kind of the major cash crop for us right now. Steel starting to accumulate. We may want to get a warehouse going and start storing off this steel, or we could still sell it. Drill pipes accumulating quite a bit too. That's something I'd love to start storing it, but we do need cash. So we'll probably end up selling drill pipe and steel and jars pretty soon, maybe in a couple episodes. Paper is slowly accumulating. Again, it's because we just don't have wood chips coming in. And boxes. Boxes we use over at the drying mill. I think we're okay there. Boxes at the drying mill and then crates at the nut house. Speaking of the nut house, so yeah, there's the load of crates we brought over. I brought over between episodes. Coal, I've been shoveling coal in there. And then salt, we just did a bunch of salt this episode. So that's looking pretty good. Just waiting on honey and then pulling these nuts out of the orchard and our greenhouse. And then we'll have this production going, mixed nuts and nutshells. That'll be cool. Crude oil, looks like, yeah, we've got room for all that drill pipe. So I take it back. We won't sell drill pipe. We'll truck that over to the oil rig and keep this production going. Got 800,000 coal. It doesn't use a whole lot per cycle, only 5 per cycle, but it does use a lot of drill pipe, 60 per cycle. The crude oil is being distributed and it's accumulating, so the refinery might be backed up. We'll take a look. Old man's mill, plenty of steel, decent amount of planks, tons of nails, tons of coal. We're not doing the down yet. We're not producing that yet. Walkers at 100,000 and wheelchairs at 77. Sawdust we're accumulating, but this will all be saved off and stored. I think the only thing we can do with sawdust is compost it. And if we need to save 10 million, we're gonna save that up. We're not gonna use that for anything or compost it. Orchard, the first orchard looks good on compost, looks great on water. Herbicide holding steady all over the place, somewhere between, I guess, in the from 57,000. This is because I sold oranges just between episodes, but right around 70,000 for most of the other products. Most important here are the bananas and the cherries, but we saw in the drying mill that that's loaded, so no urgency here. Second orchard, this is the one we just bought for the nut production. This guy has so many products. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's awesome. However, the nut house does take a lot of product per batch of mixed nuts. How's this guy looking? Water's okay. Compost is okay. Could use more. And we're at 40,000 there too. The refinery, let's see what's going on here. Crude oil. Okay, it is getting crude oil. We've got a good amount of diesel that we can start hauling around. Maybe even sell this. This may turn into a cash crop. I don't want to go OP and get tons of cash unrealistically, but we may do it with this. Dye is slow to produce. We're going to use that for fabric. And we use that for our crayons too. Hydrogen and oxygen, we could be hauling that as well. We talked about taking that over to the water tower by the main farm. It takes hydrogen and oxygen and I guess spits out water. We could give that a try. Looks like we've got plenty of product here. And we can start storing that up too. Plastic. Pretty soon I think we want to haul this over to the Mammoth Mill and start making plastic bags. Not urgent. Yeah, not bad. Production's looking pretty good. Got a lot of lines of business. Tons more to do or to bring online, but that's not bad for where we're at. And then cash, we already looked at cash. We already looked at kind of our stockpile here. We did just bring oil over ore over the 4 million mark. So that's kind of cool. Coal, as I said, is getting close to the 10 million mark. We won't have to bring coal over to the main farm silo anymore pretty soon. And what else? I guess that's about it. That's about it. We do have some canola left over. I think we're going to save that for pig food. Oats, maybe the same thing. We could turn that into flour. We could use it for horses. Maybe horses. Maybe horses. We'll save that. And what else? I thought we had some other stuff in here. Grass is okay. Hay, we're in great shape for hay. We're going to get a bunch more hay when we harvest our clover field, I think. I think we're going to turn that into hay. And then we'll get more grass when we trim around our new soybean field. And then decent amount of straw. That will replenish once we harvest the wheat on field 28, I think. We'll get a fresh batch of that, and then we can send more of the straw into the composter. I was kind of holding off just to make sure we had enough for the cow barn and stuff, but that they're hardly using any. So we can turn this into compost and stock up our greenhouses and our orchards. Anything else? A little bit of manure, a little bit of slurry, not much mentioned there. Anything else we got going on here in this storage? I don't think so. So we're on our way. Yeah, that's it for this episode. For now, this is Glidercat saying thanks so much for watching. Thanks to the few of you that have been giving the videos a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. It's a tiny, tiny channel just getting started. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. And I will see you all in the next episode.